The hardest USMLE question to get right is the one where you already know the answer. Meet Shelby, a Caribbean med student 3 days from her last attempt at the comp exam, at risk of dismissal from medical school. Her last NBME was around 50, and she needs high 60s to be safe. On this call, she realized she'd been talking herself out of the right answers on half the questions that she missed. It's a habit that most students have, but don't realize they are doing it. Watch as I walk her through the exact mental script that she needs on test day. Then, stick around for the shift that puts 20 points or more back on the next NBME.
This is my 5th attempt.
And if you don't pass this, what happens?
So what if I don't pass this? The worst case scenario is I get dismissed. But I do go through a process of I get an appeal to retake the exam.
What was your last NBME score?
My last NBME score was a 51, and that was on the 19th.
Like 4 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to get what on this test?
A 67. It's like mission impossible.
Nice. That's really, really high.
My last exam, I will give you full disclosure. My last exam where I got a 51, I kind of had a small panic attack the night before. So sleep was not the greatest. And my performance wasn't the greatest. So like over half of the 50% of the questions as I was going through it, I was like, oh, I knew this one. I just was doing the rule in, rule out, and I was freaking out. And I kept running out of time because I was spending so much time at the beginning.
I've known you for a while. My impression of you is that you kind of like it straight. Like, just
give it to me straight, and then I'll figure out the positivity side. Yeah.
Okay. So, like, you're not going to do a lot to, I mean, getting a 16-point improvement in 3 days is probably not gonna, like, I don't want to aim for that, because, I mean, if it happens, it's great. But I think it's very unlikely that you're going to pull a lever and you're going to see that big of a jump that quickly. And so what I'd rather do is to use this time, right? Because I want to use this time as productively as possible. Like, I could. I mean, if you wanted to, I do know a plan that, like, would be the Hail Mary plan of, like, let's throw everything that we possibly can, because you can't move your test date. So, like, let's just see. I just don't think that that's going to be very, like, I think the likelihood that it works is low. And even if it does work, it's not going to bring you sort of as durable of an improvement, so that your next sort of exam is going to go even better.
Wonderfully well.
What are the ways in which there's zero chance that you could improve your score a lot in a short period of time? If it's knowledge, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
For sure.
Right?
No,
like,
I understand that. Yeah.
If there's like a 20-point knowledge gap, and like, you're not going to get 20 points worth of knowledge in 3 days. It's just
absolutely
impossible.
not. Yeah.
Now, what are the things that it is possible to fix in a relatively short period of time? Let me tell you what the list is, and then you tell me if any of these potentially fit.
No,
so, burnout is definitely one. So if you're really burned out and you, like, can't think on your test, then yeah, like, if you have the knowledge and you have the skills, and the only thing that's holding you back is, like, basically you can't apply the knowledge because you're burned out, yeah, that actually does work pretty fast. Anxiety/panic. Now, usually you're not going to resolve anxiety or panic in 3 days. However, if it were possible to do, you could see a pretty big improvement in your score. Okay, so Anki kind of is pretty sporadic, is what I'm seeing. You're doing your cards reasonably. Like, you're hitting again probably too much, but you're not making a ton of cards. You just got to go back to the basics and say, okay. And again, this is not something that's going to improve your score in 3 days.
No.
But if you have to take a 6-month gap, this can be the game changer that changes your trajectory.
That was good. Okay.
Like, it will not, like, this is going to be hard. You're going to have to, like, fight a lot of the urges, limiting beliefs that you have, a lot of the habits and inertia and momentum that you've built up over decades of your life.
Yeah.
It's going to be emotionally challenging, and it's going to be a grind, because you're going to have to, like, sit there and look at facts that, like, you don't know the answer to. And you're going to have to figure out the answer. Like, why does this thing make sense? What fact can I connect this to? How can I make sense of this? It's going to be really, really freaking hard. But I can tell you for a fact that I can study about 20 minutes a day and remember all of the things in the more than 28,000 flashcards that I've made over the last 17 years. It only takes me about 20 minutes to review all that information.
Ooh, that's fun.
So there's no shame in struggling with it, but there is shame in giving up.
Yeah.
Right. And trying to justify, like, yeah, well, it's because right. It's like, just, if you if you knew 10 times more on your test, do you think it would be very difficult for you to fail?
No, for sure not. No. It'd probably
Yeah.
be 10 times or at least half as easier. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's like we need to solve that problem. Because
Okay.
I my guess is that based on this, right, if you're only making PC cards and you're not covering the factual information in first aid that you need to cover, you're gonna have a lot of gaps in your
For
knowledge.
sure. Yeah.
Honestly, that's like probably the number one thing that would make the biggest difference. I heard you say, like, I don't know, A makes sense. Like, it would make sense if it was fibromuscular dysplasia or even, but it's like, I don't know, but like, is that perfect? Was kind of what you're saying. Like,
Yes.
does that exactly describe this scenario? Right? Like, nah, that can't be right. So you just ruled it out. And then you're like, I don't know, cortical thinning. Do you see like how you kind of talked yourself into C and
Another
talked
one.
yourself out of A?
Hmm.
How often is that a problem for you?
I would say, um, trying to be brutally honest, it's about 50% of the time. A lot of the
Really?
questions, yeah, at least is when I was reviewing my exam, a lot of the questions, and I put some of them in here as well at the bottom. When I was reviewing my exam of my most recent one, I got a 51 and I was freaking out. I was like, oh, I know this one. I just talked myself out of it. And so, or I know this one. And then I'm like, but what if it's not that one? So it's almost I feel like it's almost like a trauma response where I'm like, I don't feel like I got it wrong before, but I don't wanna get it wrong now.
If you're a medical student or a doctor preparing for either the USMLEs or COMLEX or one of your medical board exams, then be sure to sign up for our free 14-step program where we'll walk you through the most efficient ways for you to improve your score in a short period of time. And if you're interested in getting there faster, be sure to book a free call with our team where we'll break down what it is that's holding you back and, if it makes sense, explain how it is that we can help you to get there more efficiently. It sounds like you were the lawyer, not the judge, honestly.
I do struggle being the lawyer or trying to put when you said, like, the judge and the lawyer, I think it was, like, in a video. I was like, "Oh, you're right. I think I'm definitely more of a lawyer because 'cause I'm arguing, maybe this one, and, like, this one could be it, like, why would it be this one?" And rather than, because I also find that sometimes I forget some of the facts, like, if it said, like, hyper, calcemia in there or whatever. And I would not look back at that and I would just like, oh, it didn't say like I would just eliminate that fact and be like, well, based on this other facts is more relatable. Like this could be the answer, you know? But mostly it's either I forgot that fact or but anyway, it is more me arguing like this one because you saw me like with cortical thinning. I was like, well, it could be with this. It was hydronephrosis and the hypertension and there's no neurological defects and then blah blah blah. And me going to arterial thickening, I'm like, sure, but is it the best one? It's like it's not really what I had initially was looking for, which was like increased renal blood flow and all the stuff. So yeah. So yeah, I think I'm definitely more of a lawyer than a judge, but I need to be a judge.
So what you want to do instead, and this I'll end on this one.
Very good.
So honestly, if I had to put my money on like the thing that would give you the greatest chance of increasing your score quickly in a short period of time, it would
Mhm.
be just massive amounts of EMDR until your test.
Okay.
Like legitimately. Like because if you can address something that has been holding you back on like 50% of your tests, like those are the kinds of things like this is the kind of thing where we've seen people improve their score by like 15%
Right.
in a matter of like weeks. Right? Like it's fixing the lawyer judge problem is probably the one thing that for people that have the knowledge makes the biggest difference in their
Mhm.
scores. Practice rule and rule out,
Okay.
answer identity. So what do I mean? So a lot of rule in and rule out, like what people will do is they'll say like, well, why does this make sense? And they'll try to talk them into it. And then
Yeah.
why does this not make sense? That works for diagnosis questions, but diagnosis is a pretty small part of step one.
Right. Okay.
Instead, what generally rule-in looks like for step one, or what it should look like for most of it, is you want to say, like, what is this the right answer for? So the skill gap that I think that you have is like you're saying, I don't know, could C be the right answer?
Yeah.
Could B be the right answer?
Yeah. That
I don't know. In a non-stenosed kidney, I don't know. Could you see cortical thinning? I don't know. I guess so. Maybe. I'm not sure. Right? That's kind of what you're thinking.
yeah, that's for sure when I'm trying to
Okay.
lawyer.
So you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because you are smart and you can make connections in your head that don't exist. So don't do that. Instead, what I want you to do is I want you to try to predict what this was the right answer for.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of saying like, so atrophic tubules, like instead of saying like, I don't know, could you get in high blood pressure, if you had systemic high blood pressure, could you get atrophic tubules? Don't do that. Instead say, okay, this is the classic finding or one of the classic findings for which condition?
Okay. Which is,
And do you know how you'll know if you were right on that? Then you look at the answer choices
oh, okay.
afterwards, the answer explanation, and you see, could you predict it?
That it was the same. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And like, it won't be perfect, but just as long as you get a little bit better every day, you'll find that you'll continue to improve.
Yeah. It sounds good.
Right? Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay. So I would focus on these two, right? So the EMDR and then practice rule and rule out, answer identity. Like, just know that every answer is the right answer for something.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is not to think, oh, well, I don't know, for my desired thing, like, could that be possible? Like, don't say that.
That was so good.
Try and predict what it's going to say in the answer explanation for like, oh yeah, this is the classic finding for or for ischemic kidney.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's awesome. And if you're off, great, then you also learned that.
Got you. Okay.
Right. But like, don't try to just be like, I don't know, for a non-stenosis kidney, could you get cortical thinning? Sure, I could see that. Maybe, but I don't know. Don't do that because
Okay.
you're gonna talk yourself out of the right answer, and you're gonna talk yourself into the wrong answer a lot,
Got you.
right? And you got to work on the anxiety, self-doubt. You know, EMDR. Like, don't do it once every other week. Like, do it. You should be doing it instead of 1 hour every other week. You should do it 2 hours a day.
Sounds great.
Right? If it
Okay.
works, don't do it a little bit. Like, just do
Do
it
a lot.
massive amounts.
Okay. No, it's good.
Make
I can do
sense?
it. Mm-hmm.
Right, Shelby. It was really good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Thank you, Dr. Palmerton, for meeting with me so quickly in this crazy circumstance. Hopefully you have good news. If not, we'll just keep chugging. That's the good news. So I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Perfect. The mental flip Shelby needs is the same one I teach students who are weeks away from a passing score they never thought that they could hit. But this flip alone won't save your test if you don't have the right system underneath it. In my next video, I'll show you how students whose practice scores were below passing turn it around fast and walk into their real exam scoring 260 plus. Click here to watch how to score USMLE 260 plus even if you're failing.